live. This is live number 5. I can't believe that we are already here on number 5. So we've already done 4 other lives. If you've missed them, go and watch the recordings. They're all in this group. Today, though, I am so excited to talk about goals and mindset. These are 2 of my very favorite things, goals especially, and then having our mindset correct in order to achieve those goals and focus on even bigger goals than we before thought was possible. So I see people are tuning in. I'm so excited that you're here. Welcome. This group has been so much fun. I don't know about you, but I have been loving going through and reading everybody's introductions and just hearing the motivation. Like, what motivates you to start your blog? If you haven't already, go ahead and introduce yourself in the group, share a photo of yourself, and tell us why you are motivated to create extra income blogging. I think it's really fun to hear the motivations because those are what keep us going. They're what pushes us and pulls us towards our goals. When I first started blogging, I had 3 goals, 3 motivations. My motivations at the time, now motivations change as we go, but when I first started, my 3 motivations were, number 1, to travel more. I really wanted to travel more. We love traveling. It's one of the things that we really enjoy, but traveling can get a little expensive. There's obviously resourceful ways to do it for less expensive, but it helps to have some extra money in order to be able to travel. So that was number 1. Number 2, I was hoping that I could make enough that my husband could take a couple extra days off work. So at the time he worked construction, and I was really hoping he could take an extra Friday off here and there, just hang out at home, or an extra Monday and Tuesday, and we could go on like a 4-day weekend trip somewhere. So I was really excited about that. I was just hoping that he could work a little bit less. Like maybe he could work 4 days a week. I was going to count that as a huge win, or maybe I could eventually get him down where he only had to work 3 days a week, and I could support our family the other income amount. And then goal number 3 was actually to save for a down payment on our first house. We were living in a 1-bedroom apartment, and my daughter was just born, so we were quickly outgrowing the space. And even though, we were making it work, we were ready for a bigger space, so we were saving up for our first house. So those were my motivations. So you can share your motivations in this feed, like what your motivations are for creating extra income with your blog. And making it into full-time income, working part-time hours. What are your motivations? What excites you about extra income? Also, you can share your introduction in the Blogger to Business Facebook group itself. Share a picture of yourself and share your motivations there as well. So I'm so excited that you're here. Today we are going to chat about mindset and goals. And the reason mindset is so important and we keep talking about it is because when we change our mindset, we begin to think differently. And when we think differently, we suddenly begin to see opportunities that we otherwise would have missed. And we start to become resourceful in ways that we were never resourceful before. Like we just start to open our mind to see these things that average, ordinary us wouldn't have seen before. So here's why I'm excited. When we change our mindset, we can actually create more income, more abundance, extra income. And we don't have to feel guilty about making that extra income because making money is a hobby and we are doing good with it. We can enjoy spending it, we can enjoy giving it, and it becomes like a hobby. I love it. It's fun. It's fun to bless other people through a blog, and it's fun to make income through it. So I'm so excited, everyone who's joining today, yay. It's fun to be on live. For everyone that later watches the recording, that's awesome too, but there's something about just watching it live and being able to comment and interact. It's been really fun. So you guys, it is possible to think differently and then create income like we've never created before. So the average world tends to work down one road, and that is 99, maybe 95% of the world kind of lives down this average, ordinary, the path that they think is expected, the path that everybody else walks, and they all just kind of walk it. And this is all about us starting to look around and do things different. If we ever are in a room and we notice that we're doing the exact same thing as everybody else, we need to reevaluate. How can we think different? How can we be different? How can we stand out? When we start creating blogs, what are ways that we can create content that is unique, that makes us stand out, that is different than everybody else? If we want to be unique, being unique is the most powerful thing there is. Be you. So when I started to think differently. I started to create big goals for myself. I knew my motivations, and my motivations kept pushing me to do big things. The cool thing about this blogging business, this new way of thinking, is that you're able to create income that is passive income. So you put in the hard work in the beginning, but you set up these passive income streams that are passive and also residual. They're consistent, they're reliable. I can plan on my ad money coming in next month and the month after that and being passive. So when my son was born, I took 3 months off and my blog continued to make full-time income while I wasn't working on it. When we moved into an RV and traveled the US for 8 months, I think I worked like 5 hours a week during that time. There were some weeks where we were in the boonies and there was no internet. So those weeks I didn't work at all. And it was okay, and the passive income was flowing in because we had put in that initial hard work, that investment of time and doing it right to set up these passive residual income streams that would support us when we weren't working. And those passive income streams are what let us work part-time also. So we always want to think on this new mindset of a blogging business, a way to create some passive revenue for our business and then for our family. So also when we bought this house, we were so excited about the new house that we decided to take a couple weeks off and just enjoy vacation in the new house. And we could. And we didn't have to dip into our savings to take time off. We didn't have to feel guilty about it. We just enjoyed extra time off. So once we change our mindset, we can start to create extra income that we wouldn't have been able to unfold or uncover or realize unless we started to think differently. Okay. So let's get into it. So number one, we're going to talk a lot about being resourceful. We're going to talk a lot about thinking outside the box. We're going to talk a lot about thinking different than most of the people that are around us in our lives. We're going to think different than the average people. And the reason this is so exciting is because there's more space. So it's kind of crammy when you're doing things where everybody else is doing it. But when you start to think different, suddenly your income potential is so much bigger because there's not that many people in life thinking differently. So that's why when we change our mindset, how much we make can be so much bigger than what most people think is their max. So when we think and act differently, we have to think and act differently in order to have results that we've never experienced before. So if we want results that are different than the ordinary, then we have to think and act different than the ordinary. We have to do things that we haven't done before. We have to try new things. If in the past we've done a lot of things and it hasn't worked, then we need to try something completely different, something completely new to get those big results. So the first way we're going to do this is we have to focus on our big goal first. So our big goal is like our dreams, is our exciting big goals. So these are the things that it's going to be a little different for all of us, but it might be you quitting your job. It might be helping your spouse be able to quit his job. It might be owning a piece of property. It might be moving to the beach. Your dream might be to own a cabin in the mountains. So what is this big dream that if anything was possible, that would be it. So allow yourself to think without limitations. Allow yourself to sit down with a paper or pen tonight after this live and say, if anything is possible, what if I could do this? And just write it down, what if I could? And just let that paper fill up. I actually did this even before I got on this live because it's good to do this periodically. So I sat down and I got my notebook out and I was like, what if? What if it was possible? And suddenly I started thinking of ideas I hadn't thought of before. And I tend to think that I think pretty big already. I've already done a lot of cool big things. But the thing is there was even more ideas that popped in as I allowed myself to sit down with this paper and think big. And I went and found Corey and I was like, Corey, I have my next ideas. I know what I want to work for. I know what I want to achieve. These cool dreams that I started thinking up. So allow yourself to dream and allow yourself to dream big without limitations. Don't cross things off as you're writing down the list well, that's unrealistic. No, this is your spot to dream really big. And then after you've dreamed up all these big things, you're going to decide which one your heart tugs at the most. If you were able to achieve that, you would literally just you would explode with happiness. So you want to find that goal that just excites every little part of your body. And then that is the big goal that you want to work towards. So then once you have that big goal, that big dream, then you're going to create 90-day goals that work towards those big dreams. And as you go, your big dreams will change. Your big dreams, you'll have big dreams along the route. And we're going to use these to motivate us and pull ourselves and create our 90-day goals that are based on those things. So as we begin to think differently, I'll give you a little example. So when I was first starting my blog, I was like building up some page views, and I was building up, and a page view is just like a reader coming and reading a page on my blog. So I was building up these page views, and I was so excited because I was like slowly growing. And 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, I reached 10,000. I was so excited. And I set my goal to 15,000 next. I was like, all right, I want to make 15,000 page views next month. So I started working at it, and it was like really hard. I felt like I was stuck in the mud, and I was trying to move, and 15,000 was so hard to get to. And I didn't quite get to 15,000 that month. And then the next month, I was really kind of like bummed that I had to work to 15,000 again because I didn't quite hit that. So I started working towards 15,000, and I was feeling really stuck. Like I was just stuck in this mud. And I was like, all right, I'm over the mud. I'm frustrated at this. So I sat down, I kind of scratched everything I was doing, and I set it aside, and I said, all right, I got to change my mindset. So I decided that instead of reaching for 15,000, I was going to reach to try to hit 100,000 the next month. And as soon as that shift happened in my mind, I was like, all right, I literally could care less about hitting 15 anymore. I was going to hit 100,000 page views. So in order to hit that, I had to change my mindset. I changed my mindset and my goal. And then when I changed that mindset, there's about 15,000. So no, I was just trying to get 15,000 page views. So that's like how many people were reading my blog. So I was at 10,000, and then I was trying to reach 15,000 page views a month. And then I changed it to try to reach 100,000 page views a month. So I was trying to reach 100,000 page views a month because I knew my ad revenue would increase if I tried to get to this new goal. So I changed the tactics that I was doing because the only way to reach 100,000 page views a month was to start using different tactics than what I was doing before. And as I started changing those tactics, I started gaining some traction. But at the end of the month, I didn't make my goal. I didn't quite make 100,000, but I did make 90,000 page views. And by making 90,000 page views, even though I didn't quite hit my goal of 100,000 page views a month, I did get higher than my 15,000 page view a month goal. So by changing our mindset and focusing on these larger things, suddenly I passed 15,000 at the beginning of the month, no big deal, as I was climbing to 100. I made it to a 90, which was close, but it was so much more than that 15,000 that I initially planned. So we need to dream big, because even if we don't quite hit that biggest dream we set, we're going to get awfully close. We're going to get a lot closer than if we set our limit down here. If we set our limit down here, this is the highest we will ever get. But if we raise our limit, then there's a lot of space that we can get to. And after that, I passed that page view number as well, and I was able to hit bigger goals as I went. But the point is sometimes we're so stuck because our dreams are too small. Our goals are too small. So we're not allowing ourselves to think differently to figure out ways to achieve these bigger goals. So simply by changing our goal, suddenly our mind starts thinking of tactics that we never thought of before. Okay, let me try to get back on track. Let me see where I'm at with my notes. So when we change our mindset, we begin to see differently. I love being around kids because I think that kids know things that us adults have forgotten. So we get so stuck as adults, especially like with the limiting beliefs of the people around us, and we just start getting kind of stuck. But kids are able to see things differently and big as well. So today, earlier today, my son was working in a little workbook, and it's just like a little workbook from Aldi with like fun activities, and he loves working in it. He's 3. He's actually gonna be 4 in December, so he's almost 4. And there was a little maze. There was a little maze project in here to work on, and he went to my husband. He was like, "How do I do this?" And my husband's like, "Well, you just start. Here's the start, and here's the finish." And you need to go through the maze, and you can't hit any walls. And my son's familiar with mazes. He's done a couple before, so he knows the rules. You can't go through walls. You have to find the open space to go through the maze. So he comes back, and he's completed the maze. And he completed the maze within the rules that my husband said, like you don't hit any walls, and you go from start to finish. But he went outside the box and all the way around to get to the finish. He found a way that was outside of the box. And I was so proud of him because I was like, yes, that is how you do it. Like in life, there's not just one way. Us adults start a maze and we start going through the maze the way that we were trained to go through the maze. But my son just went outside the box and came back to the finish line. He didn't cross any lines, because that's the rule. You can't go through lines, but you can go all the way around. You can think outside the box, you can go a different way. And I love this because it's learning to be resourceful, it's learning to see different. And when you're around like kids, you see that there's a way that's out of the ordinary, it's out of the average. And successful people do not think in the box. They think different than everybody else thinks. Okay, so number one, you have to focus on your end goal first. This is the way to be successful, and you need to make that a big goal, something that excites you, something that's bigger than you've dreamed before, something that's bigger than everyone around you is dreaming. You want to start thinking different. You want to start dreaming dreams that really are possible. It is possible for you because most of the world isn't dreaming. Most of the world is stuck. They're just doing the thing that they think they're supposed to be doing, and they're never stopping to think about it. So you're stopping to think about it, and you're deciding you're going to do things different. You're going to do the maze around and outside the box instead of going through it and wasting your entire life going through the maze. You get to just almost take the shortcut, and it's legal. So you just, instead of being in the rut, you think differently by setting really big goals. So you need to focus on your end goal. And by focusing on your end goal, you need to be realistic with where you are today and then where you want to go. And don't let yourself be defeated by your past. If you've had things in your past that haven't worked, don't be defeated by that. Don't dwell on your past. You can learn from that and make some adjustments. Maybe don't take that exact same path that you took in the past, but don't let that stop you from doing something big that's possible for you. So don't dwell on your past failures. Don't dwell on what's happened. Instead, focus forward and just dream without limits. Let yourself dream without limits. So you're going to focus on the end goal. And then from there, you're going to break it down into 90-day chunks and set some things that you can achieve towards that big goal in 90 days. So next, so number one is to focus on big goals. Now, number two is you have to make big decisions. When you're working towards big goals, you can't just settle on these teeny small decisions. You have to make some big decisions that might be hard to make. But the trick to making big decisions is to wear the lens of your big goal. So you can make decisions a lot faster because you can ask yourself, does this help me get to my end goal or not? And if it doesn't, then you quickly say no and you move on. If it does, you quickly say yes and you move on. Successful people make decisions very quickly, and they make decisions based on their end goal. So that is the lens that you're going to wear. You're going to wear the lens of your big goal as you make decisions. So does this decision help me get to my end goal or not? And successful people make decisions fast. So here's why that's so important. A successful person will make 10 decisions very quickly, while somebody else might make one decision very slowly. So the 10 decisions the successful person made very quickly, let's say 7 or 8 of them worked. 2 or 3, didn't quite pan out the way they wanted. So they learned some things from those 2 or 3 that didn't work. But 7 or 8 of the decisions that they made did work. So they're much further ahead than that one person that only made one decision in that time frame. So if you can make decisions faster, you can get further in life, because even if it doesn't work, you learn your lesson, you evaluate, you move on, and you've already made 5 more decisions. You're going to make a whole lot of decisions that do work because you're making more decisions faster. And you're wearing the lens of your end goal, which is going to help you make the decisions better. You're going to decide, does this help me get to my end goal, yes or no? And that will be how you make your decisions. So as we talk about all of these big goals and this mindset of successful people and mindset of thinking different than the average ordinary people and thinking different than probably we've thought ourselves in the past, as we start thinking different, we have to protect our dreams from negative people. We have to protect our dreams from negative influences. So myself, I tend to be kind of like a visionary. I tend to enjoy brainstorming. I really enjoy doing big picture thinking, and I'll have an idea and I'll get really fired up. And what I've learned is when you first have an idea, it's kind of like a balloon. It's very fragile. And if you go tell your new idea, your baby idea, this big idea, but it's still in its baby stage, to a negative person, they'll tell you 5 reasons why it may not work. And that will pop your balloon or deflate your balloon. And if you're not careful, that will stop you from doing something that really would have led to success. But a negative person influenced you negatively to not pursue that big thing. Now, if you have this new idea and it's like a balloon and it's precious, and you go to a positive person, they come along and they inspire you and they encourage you, and it starts making that balloon thicker. And that builds confidence, and then you can attack that dream and you can start to have success that you've never had before. So you have to be careful when you have these big dreams or new dreams or dreams that you're still a little nervous about. Be careful about negative people. Be careful about the people you're around. And this is especially true as we're entering into Thanksgiving, and we may be sitting around the dinner table with friends or family, people that we really dearly love, but who may not be positive enough or encouraging enough. So it is okay to protect your dream. It is okay to not talk about it. There's a lot of times when I have a new idea that's really big and exciting and I think might work, and I will not share it with people that I know can be negative because I want to protect it. And I may tell them later after it works and after I've built confidence on that idea, I'll mention it to them. But I won't mention it when it's in that precious new stage, because confidence is really important. So we want to protect our dreams. So allow yourself space. Allow yourself to maybe not tell everybody in your life about your new big ideas. You don't need to tell everyone in your life about your dreams. You need to find only the encouraging, positive people to share your dreams with. And those are the people that will build you up and help keep you accountable to do those big dreams. And as you have that encouragement and support, you will be much more likely to achieve those dreams. So I will just say that. Protect your dreams from negative people. Allow yourself space. Allow yourself to just not mention some of your ideas and thoughts and new projects to people who may be a more negative influence. So you want to set yourself up for success. This is a big deal. That's why all of these things matter. Because if you allow the negative person to pop your balloon, you'll never chase after that dream. We have enough, we need to build confidence in ourselves. We need to change our own mindset to say, what we need to be saying to ourselves is I can do this, I will do this, this will happen. And then you will be able to achieve and go after things that are bigger than anything you've done before. So you have to think and act differently than the average other people. You need to think and act differently than you ever have before so that you can have success like you've never had before. You can enjoy part-time income. Part-time hours and full-time income. You can make 6 figures. That is possible working part-time hours. So these are all things that are possible, but we have to create a mind and a place where we can. Okay, so we want to set ourselves up for success. There's a lot of moving pieces when it comes to blogging. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that blogging is just going to be so easy. It's a lot of hard work. That hard work is absolutely worth it. It's worth every little ounce of effort that you put into it, but it is going to require hard work. Just like anything else though, you put in the hard work and then you can see the results. You have to put in those hard work. So as there's all of these moving pieces in blogging, that's why I'm so excited that this Friday pre-registration will open for Blog Mastery, because that will be your roadmap that will tell you how to do this new thing that you've never done before and show you how to do it so that you can implement the steps. But you will have to implement and act on the things that we teach you. We will break everything down into action steps. We will break everything down for you step by step. But then when it comes to the action step, you have to believe in yourself and do it in order to see those results. So just like anything else, you plant, and then you get to enjoy the harvest. And when that harvest comes, you get to enjoy passive income. You get to enjoy flexible hours. You get to enjoy working part-time. You get to enjoy full-time income, extra income, more income than you've made before. You can have abundance. You can have more than what you think you're capable of making by just following the path, but you have to implement and act on what you're learning. So I'm so excited that you guys have been showing up at these lives. Showing up is so important. It's showing up and it's doing the thing. It's doing that opportunity that's in front of you and taking action on it. So we had a live today, and then normally we have lives on Thursday. We will not have a live this Thursday because it's Thanksgiving for everyone in the United States. So this, instead of a live on Thursday, on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and Saturday morning, you can binge watch all of the recording replays that we've done so far. If you've already watched them all, you can watch them a second time. You can be re-inspired. You can sit down with your notebook and you can write down the big dreams that you want to achieve and some 90-day goals to get towards those big exciting things. So that will be kind of your homework over the next couple of days, is to enjoy Thanksgiving break, have great time with your friends and your family, and you can also just rewatch. All of the replays are in the announcements post at the top of this group. So you can watch through all those recordings, the previous lives. You can also, if you haven't already, you can join the webinar. If you have not watched the webinar, that's kind of like the prerequisite to all of these lives, and it will show you how to start a blog. So if you're ready to jump in and you have your blog name, that will show you how to go through the steps of starting it. And then you can watch the recordings for all the lives in this group. All of those links are in the announcements post at the top of this Facebook group. So Thursday there will be no live. Friday pre-registration opens for Blog Mastery. And then Saturday will be our next Facebook Live here, and it will be at 9:15 Eastern, 8:15 Central, 7:15 Mountain, and 6:15 Pacific. So the live time is always the same, and the next live will be Saturday. Let's see. The topic on Saturday is going to be the difference between profitable blogs versus blogs that get stuck. So that one's going to be really, really good because I see this all the time. I see there's a lot of people that start blogs, but there is two very different paths and a lot of moving pieces that make the difference between a very profitable blog or blogs that just get stuck or simmer out or plateau and don't make it. So definitely join that live on Saturday. The difference between profitable blogs versus blogs that get stuck. That will be a really fun one to join. And then I think the last thing I will leave you with is to make sure that you focus on one thing. So there's actually a book out there called The One Thing, and it's an amazing concept. It's basically focus on one thing until you see the success that you're looking for. So instead of like putting out energy and trying 100 different things, you focus on one thing, but you focus on it so well. And by focusing on one thing so well, you start to build momentum and it starts to snowball and you start to see success like you've never seen before. So where you focus, you will start to see results. Where you focus, you will start to gain momentum. And when momentum is on your side, you will just enjoy success like you've never had before. So focus on one thing. So if that's building a blogging business that makes money, remember that a blogging business requires you to think like a business owner. So think and make decisions like a business owner, which means that you have to be committed. You have to think big. You have to protect your dreams from negative influences around you. And you need to surround yourself with positive influences, encouragers, people who have done the thing that you want to do. You want to focus in on that. Surround yourself with some really good books and reading that is on subjects that are all about successful people. You want to start thinking like a successful person. So it is absolutely possible for you to make great money blogging part-time. You can blog part-time hours and still make full-time income, and you can create passive income that can be done from anywhere. So I'm absolutely excited about next Saturday's live, and thank you guys so much for joining today. If you would like, we have a couple extra minutes, and you guys can, we'll do a little bonus Q&A if you guys have any questions that you want to leave in the comments. So let me see if we had any questions earlier in the group. And you can start posting questions too. I have to catch my breath because I talk so fast when I'm excited and want to tell you about all this great information. But if anybody wants and you have a question, we'll have an official Q&A on Sunday. Also, every Sunday will be Q&A day. But this is just kind of like a bonus time to ask a little extra questions if you guys have any more questions. So I'll give it a little bit of time for all of this, for some questions to load in, because we have a couple extra minutes. Okay. So Deborah asked, should we try to learn as much as we can before actually starting our blog? So the way we've set up Blog Mastery is we want you to start taking action as you learn, because it's a lot easier to start to take action as you go than to take in a lot of information and then just feel overwhelmed at all the steps that you have to do. So we tend to be in the mindset where it's better to just learn the thing, implement it extremely well, then move on to the next thing that's exactly the best, most impactful task next, and then do that the best that you possibly can. So I would recommend just implementing as you go, that helps you avoid feeling really overwhelmed at like all you have to do. And it's a lot better to do something big one step at a time, because then you don't even notice, and then all of a sudden you've climbed the mountain. So instead of learning all the steps it's gonna take to climb a mountain, you just take one step, take one step, take one step, and then you're like, oh wow, I'm halfway up. So I would definitely implement as you go. And also the bonus is if you implement as you go, then you also get to start seeing results. And those results are gonna help boost your confidence and boost your momentum to keep going. And it will also tell your brain what's working and what's not. So I would definitely implement as you go. And that is why we've set up Blog Mastery to be a roadmap that says what to do in what order. Because like I said, there are a lot of moving pieces in blogging. So when you're trying to just YouTube any tutorial that you can, you may miss essential pieces of the chain. And because you miss those essential pieces, you're not gonna have results that you should, because you're missing the crucial elements that have to go into certain things. So it's important that you do certain things in a certain order in order for it to work. So when you get into like Facebook ads and sales funnels and growing your following, these things need to be done in a specific order so that you don't leave money on the table or never get the success that you've had. I mean, I talk to bloggers all the time who start blogs and are a year or two in and are still not making money. That should not be the case. There should not be a reason that you've been blogging a year or two and not making money. So there's definitely elements that have to be done, and they have to be done in the right order in order to have results. But again, the cool thing is when you start thinking different, you're gonna start to pull yourself away. There's all these people that start blogs, but once you actually start making money, you start rising to this like next smaller pool, and suddenly you're gonna realize that there's actually less people, and there's a lot of room in that space because they've followed the right path to get there. So wait, let me see what other questions we have here. I'm so excited you guys joined. This has been so much fun. So how do you get people to view your blog? So there's a lot of different strategies that go into that. Number one would be your organic growth strategy. So those are things that you don't pay for and you're able to gain followers. So that would be things like Pinterest, Pinterest followers and people who come to your blog through Pinterest pins, and also like search engine optimization, so Google search traffic. And then once you're ready, once you've created a base content of blog posts, you're actually ready to move into like this next level of monetization, and it's monetizing in a much smarter way, so you can actually have a much smaller amount of page views and make more money per person than just chasing page views forever. So you actually can have a really small following and start focusing on things like Facebook ads or focusing on products or key affiliate products, and you can actually start making quite a bit more by doing it the right way. So hopefully that helps answer that question. You guys, this is so much fun. So how do you know if your blog is ready to start making money off of it, like with ads and affiliates? So the way we have it set up is you basically have to get out a small amount of core content. You have to start with a small base, because in order to get onto like Google AdSense, for example, like to get approved there, you have to have at least 1,000 page views a month. So we have to get that base first in order to get ads put on there. But then as soon as we're at those bases for these different programs, we do want to plug them in right away. That way we don't miss out on any earnings that we could have made. So that really is cool. How do I change my domain name on Bluehost? So if you decide you want to change your name, I would just give Bluehost a call and say, hey, I just want to change my name and switch it over, and they should be able to do it. It should be fairly simple, and I'm pretty sure they can do it on your end. You just probably will have to pay for your new name, but I think it would be like $10-15 a year, and then you can get your new name and then have them work to help you switch it over. The more content that you have on your blog, the harder switching it over will be, but if you're still in the newer stages, it's fairly simple to switch names. Also, you guys, if you ever have a question, you're welcome to email us. Email me at alita@therealisticmama.com, and either me or someone from my team will try to help you as well if you're if you have a question. Oh, I just moved this whole thing. Sorry. Okay, let me see what other questions we have here. So 1K page views or 1K page posts? Okay, so what a page view is it is just somebody who comes to your blog. So like you put a pin on Pinterest, and then someone clicks through that pin and comes to your site and reads your blog post. So that is one page view. And then if they now click to another post on your site and read another post, that's a second page view. And then a different person comes and reads 3 blog posts, that would be 3 page views. So cumulate, like you're adding all of these things together. And then you can start building up your page views. So it's basically like followers who are coming and reading your site. It's called page views or traffic or those kinds of things. And those are people who are coming and starting reading your site, which is really exciting. And it will start to build as you go, especially when you start reaching your real main ideal followers, because that's going to be really important. Is you have to find the right people to attract to your site that will be loyal, that will purchase products when you create them, that will buy the affiliate products that you recommend, because they are exactly the tribe of people that you should be attracting. So as you attract this tribe that is like meant to be with you, then that is where it's going to be really profitable. I missed the webinar and intro. Can't wait to catch up. Yeah, so if you've missed any of the other lives or the webinar, you can go to the webinar by going to therealisticmama.com/register. You can also find the registration link for the webinar at the top of this Facebook group under the announcements post. So on the announcements post, I'm also putting links to each of the live replays in that post as well. That way they're really easy to find. And there's links to everything in there. When we open pre-registration for Blog Mastery, I'll probably share it in the group, but I'll put it in that announcements post too. That way it'll be really easy to find. So all the important links will be in that announcements post at the top of this page. So someone asked, what form of monetization brings in the most money? It really depends. So there's kind of 4 paths to monetization. The most passive ones, the ones that will bring in passive income as you set them up, would be ads are a great passive one. Affiliate income is a great passive one, and then creating your own products. And creating your own products does not have to be overwhelming. It can actually, again, you can just follow this step by step and do it in a proven way where you don't have to create 10 products before you find one that resonates with people. Like there's tactics that you can implement in order to set up a product and it not be that complicated. So a lot of these things, again, is like thinking different, thinking on like, what is the best way I can do this? So one of my favorite quotes that I read in a book was like, how can I double my income with half the effort? And I love that, because a lot of times we think like, how can I double my income if I work double the amount of hours? But it was like, how can I double my income by working half the hours that I used to work or was working? So it's a really like cool way to start thinking, and it's to start thinking differently. I think that was from the book Profit First. But it's just about like focusing on the highest income tasks and doing them in the right order so that you can have results that are out of the ordinary, that your next door neighbor isn't having because you're doing things different than mainstream. So, all right, I think we're gonna wrap it up for tonight. I'm so excited. I think there was a lot of questions that I couldn't quite get to. So do come to Q&A on Sunday. So there's a live on Saturday, and then there's a Q&A on Sunday as well. But definitely tonight, you guys, your homework is to think big. So decide what your big vision, your big hope is. That should be that will start to motivate you and make all of this worth it, because you're working towards this big goal. So make sure your goal is bigger than what you've dreamed before. This is your big dream, your big goal. Allow yourself to just go crazy on your sheet of paper with things that excite you, things that you want to achieve one day. What if anything was possible? Then this idea, write those down. And then as you start to make decisions, make them through the lens of, will this help me make some of those dreams possible? And if it is, learn to make decisions quickly, and you can make a lot of decisions a lot faster than other people, and that will help you move the needle a lot faster. So you guys, I am so excited. I hope you guys will join me Saturday for a live and Sunday for a live. Watch for pre-registration opening on Friday. And also feel free to binge watch and rewatch any of the replays now through Saturday. Do protect your dreams as you go into Thanksgiving. Watch who you share with. Make sure that they are encouraging people who are uplifting, who are going to support the things that you're after as you begin this new journey towards thinking and acting different than you ever acted or thought before, so that you can achieve things that are bigger than what you've ever achieved before. So I will see you guys on the next live. Bye.